Listen, I know that people kind of look at the way that we train, and they're like, "Yeah, why would I do that? But I want to get some muscle on me. I want to get bigger, right?" And they don't. They just inevitably don't. And when you start to learn more about what this whole fitness thing is, you start to look and see, oh, the way that the masses do it probably doesn't work that well, right? Does it work for some people? Sure. But the way that the masses do it obviously isn't working, or else we'd have, 350 million people that are, in great shape instead of where we're at, right? You can talk about a lot of different variables that come into play there, but the fact of the matter is the way that we think about fitness, it it doesn't work. All right. And so when you start to learn more about movement and you start to learn more about what the body likes and what the body feeds off of, you realize that you can't just be a bodybuilder. No shade to bodybuilders, right? They do the thing that they do very, very well. But if you really want to truly make change in your own life and you're not trying to be a bodybuilder, you need more things. You need more movement, not less movement. You need to get out of machines. Sure. Can you do machines? Sure. Right. But is that all you should do? Sure. Should you do bench press? Sure. Should you do barbell squat? Those are fine. Right. And if you want to do them and love them, good for you. But the reality of it is the human body needs more. And that's why we train the way that we do. That's why you see us with our crazy Viper Pro tools, our little tube things. And when you understand what they are, you realize like, oh shit, that tube thing is really, really valuable. In terms of movement, in terms of sustainability, in terms of strength, it's really, really valuable. And that's why we have our little clubs and our, they roll ropes around and they do all this mobility. Years ago, I said that CrossFit was going to have to do something different, and they're probably going to have to adopt some things that, like what we were doing, 15 years ago. And that's working on mobility. That's understanding balance. That's getting more than just Olympic lifts. If you want a sustainable fitness plan, you've got to do things that make you sustainable. And I kind of caught on to that a long time ago, right? That's why we did TRX. It was body weight stuff. And you're like, oh, I can do this body weight stuff and it will pay me back however I want it to pay me back. Not just in, tight joints, and not just in I'm bigger, but I feel bigger, right? I don't move so well. And CrossFit, to their credit, they started adding things like we did. They added, the gymnast rings. They added mobility WOD. I'm sure some of you guys know what that is. But to their credit, they did start doing some things that allows you to move better. I don't know where they're at now, but I think they've got their own, sustainability issues as a business. But again, they kind of kicked ass and they pivoted and they started doing some things that mattered to the sustainability of the athlete. But back to my point is, if you really truly want to get in shape, not just look good, right? Look good, you can do a few things. You can start training like a bodybuilder, get on a bunch of juice, and you'll probably look good, right? You probably have to pay a little bit more attention to what you eat, probably have to train a little bit harder than you want to, but it'll work. You'll look good. And again, I'm sure I'm going to get all kinds of shade thrown at me here. Or you can start looking into how the body moves. You can start looking into sustainability and training for resilience. And maybe give us a call. There are certain things that I did, in my past that helped me learn lessons. I tore my Achilles. And when I think back about how that happened, I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I knew better than what I was doing at the time. And I wasn't mad. I kind of was like, yeah, that tracks, man. That tracks. You screwed up. You knew better. You did this instead. And now we're sitting here with a leg that's, cut in half. So anyway, I just wanted to get this out. It was kind of on my mind. But are we for people who don't want to think about what they're doing from a movement perspective? Probably not. Like, if I'm being honest, if you just want to be told what to do and you don't want to be an active participant in your own fitness, wellness, health, movement journey, we probably are not what you're looking for. But if you understand that life is about sustainability and that you're going to move the rest of your life and you want to be able to move the rest of your life in ways that you want to move instead of just ways that you're able to move now, that's where we come in, right? That's where we come in. And I'm sure this is a long rant and a lot of people don't really care about this and they want the easier way. And I'm telling you again and again that we're not the easier way. But that's kind of what's going to separate our client from the rest of the people is we aren't the easier way. We actually make you be part of the process, and it kind of pays you back in terms of like, I can live my life pretty sustainably and I can do what I want from an active perspective. And I feel good about what I'm doing. I feel good about the ways that I exercise. I feel good about how I train. And I feel good about like what that's given me in terms of results. So anyway, if you want to be more, because you want to be more involved in your own journey, give us a call.